All right, I think we can get started. Hey everyone, I'm really glad that you all can make it. Thank you all for coming so much. My name is Eric Stein. I'm the founder and current president of UVA's first Google Developer Student Club chapter. And I'm super excited to talk to you guys today about Google DSC, how you can benefit from joining, and how we can bridge the gap between theory and practice together. So to get started, why don't we introduce ourselves? I'll go first. My name is Eric Stein. I'm a second year CS student. As you guys know, I'm the lead of this club, and I'm in the e-school. Yeah. David, you wanna?
Yeah, I'll keep going. All right, hello everyone. I'm David. I'm the vice lead of the Google DSC Club. I'm a second year e-school computer science student, double majoring in CS and economics. I'm looking forward to learning and working with all of you this semester.
Hi everyone, my name is Eli. I'm a first year in the e-school. I intend to major in CS and possibly also math, and I am the club secretary.
Hey Kasim, I don't think we can hear you. We can come back to you if your mic isn't working or something. Connie, you wanna continue?
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Connie. I'm a second year computer science major in the e-school. And yeah, I'm half of the marketing team.
Let's see, is Deanna here? I don't think she can make it. Zach, you wanna continue? I don't think he's here either. All right, up here, you wanna proceed?
Yep. Hi guys, I'm Abir. I'm a first year intending to major in computer science, and I'm in the e-school, and I'm one half of the CS consultants.
Hello, my name is Spencer. I'm a first year electrical engineering major with a computer science minor, I think, and I'm part of the event planning team.
Yep, Professor Wen, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Rich Nguyen. I'm a CS faculty in the computer science department e-school, and I'm very happy to be the faculty sponsor and advisor for the group. Eric and I, we also do research together, and let me tell you, I'm very happy that Eric actually started this group because he's quite an excellent student, and I wanted him to spread the spirit and also, you know, all this technique that he learned. To make sure that the UVA students are full of spirit, not only on theories, but also in practice. So very happy to be here. I have a class at 7, so I won't stay for long, but you know, I'm excited to see this group grow and you guys having a good time with the club. So thank you.
Yep, that's great. Thank you all so much. Looking forward to meeting you guys. So I think to get started, it would be great if we could watch this clear, succinct video that basically showcases DSC as a whole. So yeah, let's watch it.
Hi, I'm Erica.
And I'm Komal. We're from Google Developers, and here to tell you about Developer Student Clubs.
Developer Student Clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems.
I'm sure you're curious how it works. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a Developer Student Club lead and start a club on their campus.
These clubs host workshops to help students learn about Google technologies.
And they work with local businesses, startups, NGOs, even their universities to build real solutions for real problems.
These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world.
They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them.
Through this experience, they not only bridge the gap between theory and practice for students, but leave a legacy of impact.
Join us in building a global community for students.
Yep, and now I would like to introduce Daniel Fiorillo. Daniel is my DSC community manager. He oversaw the process of me becoming a DSC lead, and he kind of trained me. So yeah, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Well, howdy, y'all, or should I say howdy from Texas. Thank you all for letting me join your info session. So a little bit about me. I am, in fact, the Developer Student Club Community Manager for the United States. So it's kind of my job to help students not only host events, but also to be a mentor for them as they go through this developer journey. You know, one of the things that is unique about this DSC experience is we do not just target students who have a affinity to computer science. You know, one of the things we want to tackle here is the misconception that computer science is actually just for really important to developers who want to build out really specific solutions to things. You know, computer science and really being a developer is far more than that. So our goal with developer student clubs is to not only create a community which is diverse and inclusive, but also to allow y'all to learn some really cool skills from fellow students and perhaps some Googlers along the way. So a couple things you'll see on the screen here. Number one, my LinkedIn profile. As I mentioned, mentorship starts now. So I would love for each and every one of you to connect with me on LinkedIn. Here's the catch though. If you do not send me a message accompanied with this request, I will not accept your request. The reason for this is as someone who has a rather large network currently, I meet tons of people every single day. And it's not to say that you won't make an impression on me, but there's always one way to guarantee that I remember you. And that's to remind me where we met, right? So as I said, mentorship is very important to me. So here's your first tip. Any message or connection you want to make on LinkedIn, better have a message attached to it, even if you're just using those kind of canned respond messages that are pre-built. Use something, right? So to practice this, will all send me a request with a accompanying message, and we'll connect. Secondly, there's my Twitter. Feel free to give me a follow. Admittedly, I'm not as active as I should be right now, but with the year of events kicking off and with some awesome, exciting events on the horizon, I will be using my Twitter to kind of push out some updates and things of that nature. So if you're curious and use Twitter, give me a follow. Would love the boost. But I have a feeling we're here to talk more about Developer Student Club, not necessarily who Danny is, right? So you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, what is a Developer Student Club? Well, let me tell you. In a nutshell, the Developer Student Club is a community with like-minded peers which are able to come together, learn new technologies, as well as help students gain the mentorship to take these skills from theory to practical application, right? This is a group which is supported and recognized by Google developers. We train y'all on Google specific technology, as well as we give y'all opportunities to use these technologies in life-changing ways, which you'll hear about later, like the Solution Challenge. One thing I want to talk about here is the representation below, where we have developer student clubs to the left, Google developers here in the middle. What I want to share with y'all is that you are but one branch of the Google developers community. And the reason I want to take a moment and highlight this is it doesn't matter how long you want to stay with us. We have a place in a community for you, right? So whether you're a student, whether you eventually graduate, hopefully, let's take out the hopefully, everyone will graduate, right? And when you graduate into the workforce, you can join one of our Google developer groups, which helps, working professionals learn new technologies and bring them to their workforce. Who knows? Maybe you can even be one of our Google developer experts, which is actually certified, essentially ambassadors for Google technology. They get the opportunity to kind of pitch these different technologies and speak across the world. Or maybe you could even be one of our women tech makers chapters, which helps uplift women who are looking to break into the community science space or learn some new skills which they may have been unable to get before, right? So regardless of where you come, Google is looking to provide you an avenue to continue to learn new skills for years to come. Just want to briefly talk here about the chapters in the United States and Canada. We actually have 150 chapters right now. We're looking to expand this a little bit. The primary schools, as you can tell, are all across the US. So if you happen to have a friend who goes to one of these schools, give them a nice big thumbs up and say congrats, take the most of the opportunity you have. If one of your friends goes to a school not represented on this list, well, let us know. Invite them to some future events, and maybe there's a way for us to start a DSC chapter specifically at their university. Additionally, Developer Student Club is not just a US and Canada specific initiative. This is actually a global, worldwide initiative with students all over the world, learning new skills, networking, and coming together to build real world solutions. As you can see on this map, we have a ton of DSC chapters across the world. We have actually 1,300 plus chapters across each continent. We admittedly don't have one in Antarctica, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get there eventually, right? So yeah, we are a global initiative helping to teach students new skills wherever they may be in that developer process.
Yep, thank you so much, Daniel. I'll go deeper into UVA specifically, what we'll be doing in our DSC. So basically, we'll split up our time over two main facets: training, which is in the form of workshops, study jams, machine learning as one of the topics, things like that, and hands-on, real, meaningful change, which we'll talk about later. So on the workshop side, we'll be having Google Code Labs, Cloud Hero, and Quick Labs workshops. And basically what each of these platforms do, and we get cloud credit for them, by the way, so that we can host them for free. They allow us to easily learn bite-sized pieces of information that don't require a huge, prerequisite of courses, but rather give you the ability to make practical and meaningful change using Google products. So for example, you could learn about Firebase, TensorFlow in nice bite-sized sessions, and you can walk away having the power to do really cool things. And we saw from your interest forms, which I'm really grateful for, by the way, that you guys filled out, that there is an overwhelming majority of interest for TensorFlow and Firebase. So we'll definitely be prioritizing those. TensorFlow, I'll go into Firebase first. Firebase, I feel like everyone should know, because it gives you the ability to do these common and important tasks like setting up a database or hosting a website or making an authentication system really, really easily and simply. And this allows you to direct your attention and your energy more towards what makes your app or website really innovative and really meaningful. So we'll definitely be learning about Firebase and TensorFlow and other subjects, including Google Cloud Platform, Flutter, things like that. We'll also be having guest speaker sessions, just like right now with Daniel joining us. We'll have more Google engineers, professors who may pop in, and more. We'll also be having mixers. So these are like nice little networking events. We were in talks with the entrepreneurship community, Enactus, which is a consulting club, and several other organizations. And if you've ever been to an entrepreneurship technology mixer, you'll know that it's really, really cool, because you get to meet these people who have these great ideas, but not the means of carrying them out. And they get to meet us. And we do actually have the power to use technology, Google technology, to change our ideas into reality. So by joining forces, we can really make meaningful change. We'll also be having hackathons, and especially right now with the pandemic, there's so many virtual hackathons. So we'll be able to join teams, form teams, and compete in these virtual hackathons. And on top of that, we'll have some social events so that we can get to know each other better, maybe with some Among Us or just talking, things like that. So now I would like to introduce the Solution Challenge. From the official website, the Solution Challenge is an annual contest presented by developer student clubs that invites students to develop solutions for local community problems using one or more Google products or platforms. So before I get too deep into it, I'd like to show you guys this video. Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted, my bad. So to go a little bit deeper into what the video showed, you can basically work on any project that benefits the local Charlottesville community. This could be benefiting local businesses, benefiting the community at large, things like that. And the only major requirement is that you use a Google product, which you'll see will probably be very useful anyway. And if you scan this code, you can go to the official DSC Solution Challenge website. So to summarize, the order of operations that you would probably be facing here is to first identify a problem and assemble a team. Then you would build your solution using at least one Google product. And you can go to this link here to see a list of a whole bunch of useful Google products. You would deploy your solution, submit a 2-minute video that gives you an overview of your solution. And finally, you would celebrate with DSC demo days, which are kind of like science fairs, but in my opinion, a lot cooler. One example of a successful solution challenge submission is Corona AI. Daniel, would you like to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Want to just quickly address some of the links shared in the chat. So the first link, the events.withgoogle.com/DSC-solution-challenge/, that's going to be our landing page for the solution challenge. Every single term and condition, as well as judging criteria, is actually live on that site. So if you're curious, how would you be judged? Curious as to, is Google looking to own my intellectual property, right? Those sorts of questions. Highly recommend you go to that front link and you look towards the bottom of the page. Second link there is a link to our developers blog, where we actually go through all 10 of the winning solutions selected from across the world. So I won't steal too much time. I really want to encourage y'all, go watch all of these different, projects, as they could give you some really fantastic ideas. But essentially, in a nutshell, what Corona AI did was it blended together TensorFlow technology to help examine COVID-19 data. And again, instead of listening to it from me, let's listen to it from the actual speakers and team themselves. So without further ado, here is Corona AI.
Corona AI, creating technology for change, because it is time to create technology that helps our doctors. What we did was create a band filled with electrodes that, once put on the patient's chest, creates images that can then connect to a computer screen for easy access. This computer screen can easily be connected to any dashboard that is accessible by a doctor, without the doctor having to be in the same room. Our solution provides doctors with a mechanism that allows them to detect which patient is in a more severe condition and how to allocate their resources efficiently. Our machine gives instantaneous results, is portable, and is much, much cheaper compared to the existing methodologies today. This concept is based on electrical impedance tomography. What this does is it creates a tomographic image because of the intersection points of the different electrodes. As you can see, each red circle in this image is one electrode that emits a tiny small amount of current, because of which there is an equipotential change that all the other electrodes face, and at each intersection it comes together to form a tomographic image. Coupled with our machine learning algorithms, this image is then turned into a 3D illustration of the human lung. With this information, we are able to extract what the lungs look like when the patient is breathing, and therefore are able to detect what parts of the lung are affected and any progress in the patient's condition based on the scan from the previous day and the scan that's been done today. Doctors no longer need to bring patients out of their wards and take them to do a CT scan, and now they too can practice social distancing. It's time to use technology to help the doctors and nurses who are working so hard to help us. It's time for Corona AI.
Yeah, so as you saw there, Corona AI is just one of many really cool solutions that come out of the Solution Challenge. So before we jump into Q&A, I just wanted to highlight these 3 links here. In case you haven't joined the Discord yet, it would be great if you did, since that will be where we will have our day-to-day collaboration, communication, things like that. If you haven't filled out the interest form and you want to be added to the UVA listserv so that you get all of our emails and so that we can see what kinds of events you're looking to engage in, please scan this code and fill that out. And finally, to join our official chapter roster and never miss an event from us, please join our DSC community chapter. So with that, I would like to open the floor to questions. Feel free to either type them in the chat or speak up.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a bad thing? Should I do some early research on my own if I have no idea what TensorFlow or anything else that you mentioned is? Firebase, I think, was the other one. I've never heard of these things. Is that okay? Should I not be here? I'm just curious.
No, that's a great question. Yeah, and I appreciate you asking that because a lot of people are actually curious about that. So it's perfectly fine if you've never heard about TensorFlow or Firebase or anything like that. That's what we're here for, to train you guys about this. And we're here to also offer both beginners and intermediate people alike training so that even if you've had no experience or you've had some experience, you could definitely gain something from each of our sessions. So yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Very cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Related to that, where can we get these trainings?
Yeah, so we will post in the Discord and send an email whenever we have an event coming up about any of these topics. And Google also offers some free Coursera resources, which I will post a link to as well later, where you can learn about TensorFlow and things like that. To Robo in the chat, there's not going to be a regular meeting time since most of our meetings will be just in terms of events. But if people have an interest for, say, meeting regularly to work on the Solution Challenge or something, we could definitely arrange for that.
What is the timescale for the Solution Challenge?
So I believe it's due sometime within the spring. The official actual due date is on the website. But yeah, I believe until the spring you have time to work on it, come up with a solution and deploy it.
I can give a little bit more info about that if that helps. So one of the reasons why we want y'all to identify and really try to feature some of these solution challenge topics early on is because we found that when you find a problem in your local community which you're passionate about solving, it's actually going to help you not only commit to learning new technologies, but it's going to help you uncover new technologies you may need to learn to help build out a real world solution for that problem, right? So kind of going back to your question about TensorFlow and stuff like that, that's A-okay. This is actually the place where we want to help teach you those skills through hands-on workshops and study jams, utilizing quick labs, and beyond, right? The specific question about the Solution Challenge timeline right now, technically, the solution challenge hasn't started. Registration opens in January of 2021. So your directive right now is to identify a problem, try to work together as a community to make sure everyone who wants to work on a project has a project to work on. And then from there, to identify technologies you need to learn to be ready for Solution Challenge when it launches in January. So you can have a ton of new technologies to build out this solution, right? So registration will open up in January. It'll close sometime in April, probably the end of the month. So it'll give you approximately 4 months to be hands-on coding with your solution. But you can get started today. Just don't start actively coding things.
Thank you.
Yeah, to Aiden in the chat, the question was, you mentioned guest speakers, including potentially Googlers. Are there any in Charlottesville, or would it be all remote? So for this semester, it's going to be all remote, and for the next semester as well. It's kind of a blessing and a curse, this whole pandemic thing, but to be like on the optimistic side, we get to have a lot more access to Googlers who are not in Charlottesville. So yeah, it'll be all virtual this year. So Rishal had a question here. So for the solution challenge, if we aren't on grounds, should we still look to solve problems locally, or one that we could possibly see at UVA? So preferably, yeah, we would focus on Charlottesville, but like you saw with Corona AI, that's not necessarily just specific to California. It can be applicable anywhere.
Exactly. What we really want to focus in on here is that this can be a problem which other communities face, but given the solution you build out, could it solve that problem in your local community, right? That's kind of the way to think about it. A lot of these communities do have a little bit of overlap, especially if you are working with nonprofits or like local businesses. A lot of the issues they face are very similar, depending on your region, of course.
Can you clarify what you were saying about only Google programs being used, kind of? I wasn't exactly sure what I was hearing there.
Yeah, sure. So the main thing was that you have to use at least one Google product. So that could be TensorFlow, Firebase, Flutter, anything like that. You could also use it in combination with other, languages, not necessarily just like Google, like Dart or things like that. You can also use other technologies, but yeah, the main requirement is that you use at least one.
Okay, that's what. Thank you. That clarified.
Yep. So here's a question in the chat. So that means that technologies like AWS would also be allowed. So they would be allowed as long as you, use them in combination with Google products. There is a stress on using Google Cloud Platform in particular, since like Firebase is tied in with that as well. But yeah, I think technically you would still be able to use AWS and a Google product together.
Sorry, I don't know if that question was directed towards me. My audio is cutting a little in and out. This is a great question. So one of the things I'll just drop here, just briefly, is while, yes, you are free to potentially use any service or provider, take a second to think about the question you just asked me. Do you think it would be the best for your submission to use AWS versus something like Google Cloud Platform, where we're going to give you these credits for free, right? I would really ask you to take a closer look and see if there's a way to build a solution using Google's specific technologies or platform. And if you can't find that option, definitely let me know, because I would be very curious to hear that. But obviously, please read through the terms and conditions. You'll get an answer to each and every one of your questions there, but you may just shoot yourself in the foot there a little bit. The next question I see here in the chat is, are the groups going to be assigned for us? And Eric, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we're not going to assign anyone specifically. What we're going to do is have an opportunity for each and every student to showcase their idea, right? And then from there, we'll have an opportunity for students to kind of go through and select which projects they want to work on, and make sure that every student who is looking to support a project ultimately finds a home, right? There is something to notate here, which is that there is a maximum of 4 students per team. The reason for that is, we want to make sure that y'all have the opportunities, or the opportunity to lock in these new theories with practical application. If the team goes beyond 4, y'all are really not getting that specific opportunity. So in short, the answer is no, but you will have plenty of opportunity to be connected with a project if you are having trouble. And since y'all happen to be lucky enough to have me on the call with you today, I'm going to go ahead and drop a little tidbit for you real quick. We actually have a YouTube event happening right now. This is a Developer Student Club peer-to-peer internship panel. When we're done with this, I would highly recommend each and every one of y'all to switch over to this event that I've linked in the chat. We have some really incredible content being discussed, and I think y'all could really learn from some of our DSC leads and your peers. So if y'all don't have any other questions, comments, or concerns, I would highly recommend go ahead and porting on over.
Yep. Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for coming by, stopping by, and tuning in here. I'm really excited to be working with you guys and to be leading this club. And yeah, I can't wait to see what things we can create together. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me via email, Discord, anywhere. Yeah. There's one more question here related to the collaboration within groups. Would you recommend a certain platform, a Google-related one perhaps? So we can use pretty much anything for collaboration itself. We're using Discord mainly right now, but yeah, for collaboration itself, you're not really restricted to a Google-related product. But yeah, if there are no more questions, thank you guys so much. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.